What's going on, guys? The Comics Kid 2099 here to talk about episode 8 of the King Arthur Netflix series Cursed. This episode is titled The Fae Queen. Nimue, who has recently fully taken control of her role as the leader of the Fae hiding at Nemos, she decides that they need to go to Grimaire, which the Red Paladins have taken. That is the city where Arthur's uncle Ector lives. So they go there. She has a one-on-one sword fight with a Red Paladin, even though there's like 30 or 40 other Red Paladins surrounding her, and they all have weapons. For some reason, none of them move in to kill her when she's fighting this Red Paladin guy, and she has more trouble fighting this guy one-on-one than she had when she fought 5 or 6 other Red Paladins all at once a few episodes back. But anyway, they're more or less able to take Grimaire without any trouble, and then Nimue is showing herself to slowly become power-hungry, and we're not sure if this is her just in over her head because she's not used to being a leader on this scale, or if the sword is starting to corrupt her. I would think that the sword wouldn't be acting this quickly. Merlin, I think, had it for a while before it started to bend him, as he said, so I wouldn't think that the sword would this quickly be corrupting her. She's had it for a couple weeks at this point, but Arthur seems to think that the sword is corrupting her, so she and him have a couple of arguments with each other over what they should do, and she basically says that because she's the Fae Queen, she's right and everyone else is wrong, and a stupid poopy head. And so meanwhile, Merlin is trying to secure alliances with the Ice King, Cumber, who is the cousin to the Pendragon line, and Merlin basically says, look, I'll give you what you want, all you have to do is make sure that Nimue stays safe. And so Merlin gave Cumber the handmaiden who helped sneak a baby into the Queen Mother's arms, and then the Queen Mother passed the baby off as her own biological son. And now Cumber is going around telling everyone in every town that Uther is not the rightful king. And apparently everyone believes him without any questions at all. And all they had to do was take this handmaiden and put her up in front of a whole bunch of people and then say Uther is a fake. I don't know why they needed this handmaiden, though. They could have taken literally anyone and just have them be quiet, and then Cumber's daughter could go and say, listen to her. She says that Uther is a fraud, and that means that he's a fraud. And then everyone would be like, yeah, give us Barabbas. I don't know why they needed this handmaiden woman. She doesn't really factor into their plans. She knows the truth, but these people who are accepting the truth, they don't know that she's telling the truth. They're just accepting it on blind faith. And you might be saying this is very similar to how things played out in Game of Thrones. That's something that has been noted in these reviews up until now. The whole Battle of the Five Kings was kind of predicated on someone finding out that the royal heirs to the throne were not actually the biological children of the dead king. A very similar situation going on here, and Merlin finds out that he really can't trust the Ice King because the Ice King has decided that because Nimue holds the Sword of Power, or the Sword of the First King, which is Deviltooth, it's got like a whole bunch of names, but anyway, he's decided that if he gets a hold of her, he's going to throw her in a dungeon because she is amassing more followers, and that's dangerous to his claim of being the rightful king of the land. And meanwhile, Uther finds out from his mom that he is not the rightful king, and then he possibly forms an alliance with the Red Paladins. So people are starting to form alliances, pieces are starting to move across the board in important ways. I just wish that it didn't take 8 episodes for all of this to happen. I've been saying this whole time, this is stretched out super, super thin. The plot of this season could have been 2 or 3 hours long. Now, there are some characters who probably would have gotten shafted a little bit if this had just been a movie, but the plot itself isn't moving fast enough, and there's not enough plot to justify this being a 10-episode Netflix series. You might get more character stuff, you might get more characters getting screen time, but overall, there's very little plot in each episode that justifies this being an ongoing TV show. Also, Iris, she's sad because one of the Red Paladins lost his head fighting Nimue, and then she almost goes and kills Nimue. I forgot to mention in a previous episode when everyone was saying, yay, go Fae Queen, Iris was in the back crying, and I really don't understand that because I don't get what Iris's deal is. She was raised in a church, but then she kills everyone at the church that she's raised at because she wants to be a Red Paladin, and now I guess she's angry at Nimue for reasons? Nimue hasn't done anything to Iris, and when Iris was learning how to shoot a bow from Squirrel was saying that the Red Paladins killed his people, and then Iris was saying, well, if someone killed my family, I would really kill. And she said something weird and creepy. She said, I would kill them. And then Squirrel like ran away because it was weird and creepy. But Nimue hasn't killed anyone that Iris knows. In fact, the only one here who has killed anyone is Iris. Nimue has killed a whole bunch of nameless paladins, but Iris doesn't know those guys. She wants to join them because she's evil. That's her character trait. And this actress is doing a good job acting evil, but there's absolutely nothing to this character. I've said before that religious zealotry, that's something that I can understand because that exists in the real world, but I don't even know if that's something that I can attribute to the character of Iris because she burned down her convent that she was raised in. I think she was raised there because she said that her father strangled her mother because she wasn't a boy. So I think she spent her whole life at that convent, and then she burned it down because Morgan was hiding Nimue there. She knows that Morgan and the abbess who's in charge, they were the only ones hiding Nimue there. Everyone else was completely innocent. And somehow she's angry and sad that Nimue is being held as the Fey Queen. I don't know. Basically, she's evil, and that's her character trait. Anyway, things are starting to move along, but at the end of this episode, a whole bunch of soldiers are coming, Red Paladins and Uther's men, I believe. They are coming towards the city, and they are trapped there. So things have never looked more grim. I'm sure things will work out just fine. Anyway, I forgot to mention, Pym, she shows up here. The last we saw Pym, she had gone out with the raiders who had picked her up, and then they were attacked by Red Paladins, and then Nimue, after she kills the guy with the sword, she passes out, she wakes up, and Pym is there. Apparently, the Red Paladins took Pym as a prisoner, even though I don't buy that they would do that. The Red Paladins, they crucified an innocent woman to make people think that the Wolfblood Witch was not a big deal. I don't think that they would have taken prisoners like this, but apparently they did. And so now Pym and Nimue are back together, although once Nimue and Pym kind of hug it out, and then Pym's boyfriend dies, we don't see Pym anymore. Nimue then goes on to argue with Arthur and Gawain a little bit. We don't see Pym anymore, so I don't know what's going on there. If Pym is going to stay with the Fae that have allied with Nimue, I'm not sure. Is she going to stay with the Red Spear? I really don't know. So that's about it for this episode. I hope that you guys like this review, and I will be back later in the week with some more videos. In the meantime, have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.